Tahel Amelong. Every week in our weekly service at One Love, One Communion, Many Paths, One Mountain, I have the honor and opportunity to study the first principles of reality as they have been articulated by Dr. Marc Gafni and Barbara Marx Hubbard. Those two have worked together for over 100 collective years to articulate the story of the new human and the new humanity based on these first principles. The first principles constitute what they have called a universal grammar of meaning, or the new story, or a global ethos for a global civilization. Every week, guided by grace, Dr. Marc articulates the principles in precise formulations, and every week I recapitulate pivotal sections of the first principles in direct quotes from the prior week's articulation of Many Paths, One Mountain. I spend hours picking the exact string of direct quotes from their articulation and weaving them together, a string of sentences that I hope will activate in you a heart inflamed and committed to changing the world with outrageous love. Here goes the recapitulation. Ode to evolutionary joy, the higher union of a broken heart and radical aliveness. There are different things in every generation that brings us to joy. And there's an evolution of wisdom in terms of what true joy actually means. And there can be a kind of false joy. But the experience of joy cuts across cultures and across generations. That means that joy is not a psychological construct, nor a social construction of reality. Joy is a first principle of cosmos. Joy is the opposite of depression. Joy is the radical aliveness of cosmos. We can't step in at this moment between utopia and dystopia, change the source code and activate this revolution unless we do it with radical joy. The joy of being. Joy doesn't live out there. Joy is not a reaction. Joy isn't, I didn't have something, now I have it, so now I'm in joy. Joy is the fabric of reality itself. The subatomic and atomic universe trembles with joy. It experiences allurement and pleasure, and when it fulfills its inherent purpose and experiences its inherent aliveness, the cellular world explodes with joy. That's what makes us up. We actually live our natural experience when we get through the cravings, through the contractions, the clenches, when we actually rest in the natural nature of reality. We are those atoms. We are those molecules. We are those cells. Joy is available every second. Then we need evolutionary joy. Evolutionary joy is the highest form of joy, the joy of becoming. That's evolutionary joy in which I'm actually reaching toward my unique purpose, just like the subatomic particles and the plant and the animal and the aliveness of nature in all of her resplendent magnificence. When I'm living my destiny, when I'm aligned, when I'm giving my unique gift, I am literally incarnating that pulsation of gifting that is evolution awakened in me. When that begins to happen, joy literally rocks and moves reality in an unimaginable way. On purpose, living our story, the agony and ecstasy, knowing our story matters. Reality trembles with joy. We're brokenhearted in 1 second, and in the very next second, we're filled with joy, because joy comes not from a circumstance. Joy comes from the experience of being fully alive. We know the infinity of intimacy loves madly. The texts of different mystical traditions say that the inception of reality was the Shua, the Shakti, the trembling joy of the infinite. In the text, it's the autoerotic joy of God, God causing divine pleasure, the self-pleasuring of divinity, the joy of divinity's arousal of desire exploding with joy that births reality. Our story is chapter and verse in the universe, a love story. Then, oh my God, ode to joy. Our very being, our very becoming is literally joy every second. Embrace your joy. Fall into it. We'll fall into it together.